What is going on, guys? It is Ryan Orton's Gaming here, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be ranking every single Call of Duty Zombies map. That includes non-trail zombie maps, but it does not include Extinction because that to me is not zombies. I don't know why people put them in their tier list, to tell you the truth, but we move. Anyway, let's get this started. There's no need for more of an introduction. So our first map is the Frozen Dawn, and I'm going to be honest, absolute trash. Didn't like the flow of the map at all. It was awful. I have nothing else to say. Right, up next we've got Der Riesendrak. Now, Der Riesendrak, absolutely fantastic map. It's got probably one of the most memorable Easter eggs of all time. I used to complete all the time when I was young, when this map came out back in 2016. I had a pretty good time with it. However, over time it can become fairly repetitive. It's quite a small and simplistic map. It's fantastic, don't get me wrong. Wouldn't say it's god tier, but I would definitely say it's awesome overall for that. Nuketown. I'd probably put it in meh. It's quite good, I suppose, if you want a challenge, but there's not much to it. It's very bare bones, and the random perk thing annoys everyone, and it annoys me. It's not for me at all. Outbreak. Outbreak is an interesting one, because when this first came out, I actually had a lot of fun with it. Like, open world zombies, you go to all these big, huge maps with lots of objectives and zombies everywhere. I thought it was really cool. But then over time, I got a bit bored, found it very repetitive, so I'd probably put it in decent, but that's absolutely pushing it, really. Shadowed Throne, I'm probably going to put that one in meh. It was okay for the most part. It did have a pretty fun boss fight, and the Easter egg was okay, but it just, World at War Zombies to me wasn't good as a whole, and Shadowed Throne, it wasn't the best. The Giant. Now, the Giant is it's a classic, right? It's a really fun map. When Black Ops 3 came out, most people actually played this map over Shadows of Evil in a lot of cases, because it was a lot simpler for people to play, because Shadows of Evil was fairly complex at the time and people didn't really understand the mechanics. But for the Giant, I'd probably put that in awesome. I think it does deserve awesome, because it was a fun map. It was simple, easy to you really got used to the Black Ops 3 mechanics in terms of how everything worked. Like, you could understand the pack-a-punch system because it was easy to pack-a-punch. It had 4 basic perks. It was a basic survival map with that little bit more of innovation and a little bit more atmosphere, so I really did like that. Moon. Now, Moon is a tricky one, because I thought Moon's Easter egg was fantastic, where you blow up the Earth, but the mechanics of the map were interesting. I mean, this includes both BO3 and Black Ops 1. I do find it annoying sometimes, like when you're running around the map and then you go where you don't want to go to and things like that. The excavators from the Easter egg were very, very annoying, but I did like some aspects of it. Like, the fact that you were fighting zombies on the moon alone was pretty cool, and like I kept saying, the Easter egg is pretty cool. I will put that in great. I might change that later, I'm not too sure. Right, God Crovey, god tier, easy one. One of my favourite maps of all time. I absolutely love this map. It's got one of the best Easter eggs. There's dragons on the map. It was really replayable, and it was challenging at the same time, but I really enjoyed playing that map. The Easter egg was amazing. I mean, come on, like, you got to fight a dragon in the boss fight and Nikolai in a mech suit. Like, it's not too bad. Right, Die Rise. Die Rise to me is one of them maps where it's hard to explain. I feel like when it first came out, it was one of the biggest disappointments in Call of Duty Zombies history, because we just had Transit, which was terrible, and then we got this, and not a lot of people liked it, me, myself included. I was about 12 years old or something like that when this map came out, and I wasn't too impressed at the time. But it has grown on me a little bit, because once you get good at the map, it can be quite enjoyable. But you know, it's got its flaws. It's got more flaws than pros, I suppose. To sound like decent on me, I'll give it decent because once you do know the flow of the map, it can be quite enjoyable. Right, Nacht der Toten. Now, I'm not going to let nostalgia get in the way of this one because Nacht der Toten is the first ever map in Call of Duty Zombies history. And if this map wasn't made, there'd be no Call of Duty Zombies. There wouldn't be any of these other game modes that have been released by Call of Duty over the years either that are around based like Survival, Modern Warfare 3 and all that kind of stuff. But the map itself, I mean, when you really think about it, it is extremely slow paced at the beginning. It takes about 10 minutes for the zombies to come in the map, and that is a massive issue because you just sat there waiting for them to come. I don't know, it's slow in every single iteration of it. Black Ops 3, Black Ops 1, and even the World at War version in particular, very, very slow. But it is a good little survival map at the same time. I'll probably put it in meh though because there's not much going on. There's no perks. There's not much there. Right, Voyage of Despair. I hated the Easter egg, and I didn't really like the map layout at all. I really didn't enjoy this one at all. It was a shame because it was set on the Titanic, and that could have been one of the coolest maps ever. They could have had a fantastic Easter egg, fantastic map layout, but they had a terrible Easter egg, a terrible map layout, and you know what? I'm gonna put it in trash. And I don't probably a lot of people disagree with me on that one, but I truly didn't like that map at all. I thought it was absolutely terrible for what it was. Absolutely terrible. Wasn't impressed at all. Right, let's move on to Zetsuba no Shima. Now, Zetsuba no Shima is like the bad egg of Black Ops 3, if you like. Mainly because people didn't like the plant system very much, or the thrashes around the map, and the Easter egg wasn't. The Easter egg had a good story to it, but the steps themselves weren't that great. It was very simple to do and a bit boring. But I actually think the map is pretty good, you know. It's very enjoyable. I mean, once you complete the Easter egg, you've got lots of camping spots you can go to. The wonder weapon's actually fantastic. I mean, it's basically like the solidifier in effect, isn't it? Like, and it does do a lot of damage, and you've got the marshals and exclusive weapons and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I'd give it a great. Would I put in awesome? Ooh, it's between great and all because I do enjoy the map because the map when you're on the high rounds, it's very enjoyable. I'm going to put it in the bottom of. We're going to put in awesome, but I may change my mind on that. Right, Transit. Yeah, it's terrible. It's going straight in the trash. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it here. Transit is terrible. The bus is terrible. The lava is terrible. The Easter egg is terrible. Everything about it is terrible. It's garbage. It's absolutely terrible. Up next, we have The Tortured Path. This is even worse. It deserves its own category, in fact. Can you make another category on this? Can I make another category? Nah, wait. Nah, I can't. Oh, well. But yeah, it's trash. I've never used this tier maker. Maybe you can, but it's 100% awful. Who thought it was a good idea to make 4 mini-maps? Or was it 3? I can't remember. And then you had to complete objectives that if you didn't complete, you'd get punished. And to complete the Easter egg, you had to do it in like a public match with 4 players. The maps were hot. The whole map itself was one of the most inaccessible maps for new players or even hardcore players alike. It was terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. They must have lost a lot of money in the budget during World War II's life cycle because that map was awful. Firebase Z. Now I say this is the weakest map in Cold War because I just thought the way that the setting was a bit boring. It was literally just a base in the middle of Vietnam, and there was not much to it. To be honest, I didn't enjoy it personally too much. The mimic step on the Easter egg was annoying. But saying that, it did have its good moments. It could be enjoyable to an extent. The Reiki was pretty cool, I suppose. I'll probably put in meh, though. It doesn't really... It's not that fantastic, is it? Let's be honest. The Darkest Shore. Call it whatever you want. This goes in trash with the Tortured Path. This is one of the worst maps I think I've ever played in my entire life. It was foggy. You couldn't see. The Easter egg was terrible. It was really small. I mean, how would you go from making a pretty decent launch map to then this abomination? I mean, what were they actually thinking? It could have actually been a pretty cool concept in the beaches of Normandy. I think that's where it was set. I can't remember. It could have been a really cool concept, but instead they really ruined it. I forgot what the special enemy was called, but they were horrendous. They would run at you in the middle of the fog. They take us. I think it was like one hit or two hits, and you were dead. They were an absolute nightmare to deal with. Like Shadows of Evil, right? Shadows of Evil deserves God tier, and I'm going to explain why. Shadows of Evil, to me, anyway. When I first played it, I'll admit, I found it really difficult. Didn't understand what was going on because it's an extremely complex map for a launch map and for new players. If you're a new player, Shadows of Evil is a lot of getting used to. The Pack-a-Punch system's fairly complex. Transversing the map's fairly complex. But once you have all that down, this map is beautiful. Morgue City is one of the best settings for a zombie map I've ever experienced in my entire life. It is incredible. The Easter egg is pretty good as well. It's pretty challenging and rewarding, and can't say much more about that. And you've got the Apothicant Servant. I forgot about the Apothicant Servant. Best wonder weapon of all time. It's amazing. It's a shame you could upgrade it, but the map itself is just too amazing. I can't argue with that. Shangri-La. Now, Shangri-La, to me, is one of the most beautiful maps in Call of Duty Zombies history. It looks gorgeous. A lot of people hate this map because of how cramped and small it is, and it's a hard map. But hard maps tend to get the hate in Zombies, which is a bit unfair because not all Zombies map can be like Derives and Dracula the Giant, where it's easy-ish to get to high rounds. I think Shangri-La has that element of challenge, which I do like. And you know what? I actually think it deserves to be great. It has a fantastic Easter egg as well. I remember the Easter egg being quite enjoyable. It was very tricky, but it was fun to do. There's lots of puzzles and stuff, and if you communicate well, it's not actually that bad. But if you get a set of players that can't communicate, not so much. D Machine. Now, D Machine was a pretty overall alright map, to be fair. I mean, I was in shock when I first played Cold War, to be honest with you, because of how much the mechanics changed. I was like, whoa, what's actually going on here? Like, you could use your own weapons, and everything just felt completely different, because I was playing BO3 and BO4, and everything just completely changed for me. The map itself was interesting because it had like knacks in it, but what I liked about this iteration is it didn't feel like it was just a knacked remake. They added to it. You had the underground bunker and all the rest of it. Everything was simple. It was a very good map for first-time players. It also held your hand for the first bit to get Pack-a-Punch, and it really introduced the new Cold War systems really well in this map, I felt. The Easter egg was very, very easy, but the ending of the Easter egg was absolutely awful. It was literally just get extracted in a chopper, and that was it. So overall, it's so tricky. I'd probably put it in. It's above Outbreak. I'm going to put it in Great. I might change my mind towards the end, but at the moment I'm putting that. Right, the final rank. Easily the best map in World War II Zombies. I played this one the most. I actually had a lot of fun with it as well. I loved the atmosphere and tone of this map. It was excellent. Like the cinematography was fantastic. The atmosphere was on point. The snow, the horror aspects, I thought they did a really good job. I mean, I thought they forced some of the jump scares a little bit, bearing in mind, but I did actually really enjoy this map. I'm actually going to put that in Great as well. I mean, when I'm ranking these maps, unfortunately, the mechanics of the game are taken into account. World War II, I thought a lot of the weapons weren't great, and the perk system was a bit rubbish. We had to hold your hand on the thing. A lot of things did annoy me, but it does deserve to be great because the tone and atmosphere was perfect. Descent. Now, I know Noah J456 put this really, really high. Unfortunately, I disagree. I'm probably going to put it in there. It's not trash, but it's not. I mean, Exo Zombies to me wasn't bad or anything. I mean, it wasn't brilliant, but Descent, it was a very basic map when you think about it. The only good part might have been the Otto boss fight. That was pretty cool. But the Easter egg was actually pretty fun. But the map itself, it was very basic, not much going on. The zombies themselves were annoying when they jumped around the jetpacks. I don't know what to say. I mean, I hardly remember the map, to be honest. I think I'm just talking rubbish. But we move. Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead has grown on me massively. I used to actually hate this map when it first came out because of George. Because George used to kill me and come out of nowhere, and I found it hard to get to high rounds because I got really unlucky with the mystery box. But when you've got this map down, it is beautiful. It's really well executed, and I do enjoy it a lot. I think it deserves to be an awesome tier. I mean, the cast was fantastic as well. The crew was brilliant. The Easter egg was nice and simple. I thought they did an excellent job of introducing Easter eggs into Call of Duty Zombies in this map in particular. I know Ascension was the first one, but that was wasn't very good. But the Call of the Dead had the right balance. It also had a solo and a co-op Easter egg. I don't think a zombie map since, as far as I'm aware, has done that, or not done it very well. And I thought Call of the Dead did it really well because both of the quests were slightly different to each other. So you got, and those 2 achievements, and they did a really good job with that. I mean, the reason it's not God tier for me personally is just I just feel like it's down to luck with the mystery box to get the weapons and stuff, and it took me a very long time to do that, and it can be quite a hard map as well when it comes to, for new players in particular. But overall, the atmosphere is great, and yeah, that's about it really. Tag der Toten. So Tag der Toten is the remastered version of Call of the Dead. In terms of ranking though, I find this quite tricky because I wouldn't say it's awesome. I think Call of the Dead is definitely better, so I'm going to put it in great. So the reason I say that is great, and this is probably going to be a controversial reason, but I'm standing by this reason, is literally due to the fact that this should not have been the last map of Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We should have got the Great War. I know this is what's it, and it was a big letdown really. I thought the Easter egg was there's some fun steps, but I thought the last step was crap. I mean, they could have had an epic boss fight with Dr. Monty or the Shadow Man or whatever, but instead they chose a step where you essentially have to follow like a, I can't remember what it's called, you have to follow something around the map and just kill zombies inside it, and I was like, it was literally just collecting zombie souls. Very disappointing. You didn't even get to play as the four main characters of the map, Nikolai, Takeo Dempsey and Richtofen. You had to play as the transit crew. That was a terrible decision as well. They could have maybe put the transit crew in Alpha Omega, but instead they chose it for the last map. Completely wrong decision, and it really ruined the map for me as a whole. Beast from Beyond. Right. Beast from Beyond, let me get me started with this map. I'm not going to say it's trash, it's in meh, but the map has a lot of problems. I didn't think it was a good idea to start with the Crypts running at you on round one. It made the map fairly tricky from the get-go. I don't think people enjoyed that aspect of it. The Easter egg is terrible. The boss fight for the map is also terrible. It's just a bullet sponge, and the map just doesn't flow very well. So yeah, I think it deserves to be in meh. Carrier. Carry is an interesting one for me because people think the Easter egg for this map is really long, and it is really long, but I thought some of the steps were really cool on it actually. It had a this step where you're drunk and you go through a maze. I'm not sure why you had to actually get drunk though. That was an interesting concept. And I thought the map itself wasn't actually that bad. I mean, I'd actually put it decent. Is it the best map for me in Exo Zombies? It's the one I actually played the most. Actually, no. Wait, it's not the one I played the most. I just remember something really bad about it. It's going straight in meh. I forgot about this. I've changed my mind. That step, that objective round where people spawn in the zombies map, you have to defuse the bomb. I couldn't believe when they introduced that. It ruined the map for me big time. Ignore what everything I've just said about Carrier. It's not trash because it's playable, functional, and can be fun at times. But those search and destroy bomb rounds, they really ruin the flow of the map. That's why it gets them there. Ascension for me, I'll probably put it in decent. It's a good map, but it's a really good map, and I did really enjoy it. And you're probably thinking why I haven't put it in great. Well, when you're playing it, because of how easy the map is, it gets very boring very quickly. Like, you can get to around 50 on that map really easily, especially on the BO3 version. You've got the Gobblegums. Now, people say that the monkeys make it worse on the BO3 version because they take your Gobblegums and you lose your perks and stuff. But I'm kind of glad they've done that, weirdly enough, because it does make the map a little bit more challenging. But even with the monkeys and stuff, the map is still more than functional, more than playable. You can just train in about 10 different areas of the map at this point, and it's not hard to do. But what is a good map, it's very replayable, but at the same time it does get boring. I know that contradicts itself a bit, but you'll see what I mean. Getting to Highlands is not so fun. Okay, now we've got Alpha Omega. Oh god. Right, this map was one of the most boring maps I've ever played in my life. I mean, it's I don't know what happened there. It's sort of it's going in meh as well. It was a really big disappointment actually, because it was just literally Nuketown with a bunker at the bottom, and that was it. I don't know how people enjoyed this map and what people got out of it. I mean, the only thing that the Easter egg was annoying. Remember this step where you had to follow the red crawl around the map? That was terrible. The 4 Raygun Mark II upgrades, from what I remember from this map, were also terrible. Like, the actual Raygun Mark II was better than the upgrades. Try to keep doing that a lot. I don't know why, but in this case they were. And no, like, there was just nothing to it. It was just a very plain, boring map. Like, we've seen Nuketown that many times on multiplayer on Call of Duty, and then we had the remake on Zombies in BO2. We just didn't need this map. It didn't need to happen. I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest with you. We had all 8 of the characters in this map, and they used Alpha Omega as the map. They could have used anywhere else. I would have been happy with, I don't know, I would have been happy with a remake of Origins and Alpha Omega. It was just an awful choice. Awful choice. Right, Attack of the Radioactive Thing. All I remember is not liking this map and hating the Easter egg and not playing it very much because of how bad it was. I can't really say much more than that, but it's going in trash because if I don't know much about it, you know it's a problem. Infection, but I've got a rant about this map. Worst zombies map in Advanced Warfare and arguably in Call of Duty history, depending on the way you look at it. It is awful. You've got escort survivors, the map gets locked down, you actually confined to the sewer area in certain rounds where you can't actually get out. So essentially, they've made a zombie map where it restricts movement. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this one, but that's what they did. The boss zombie on this map was a really big pain in the arse. The Easter egg was to cook a burger. The Easter egg was to cook a burger. I've got no idea. They must have been taking some kind of drugs, or they must have been doing something weird when they were making this map, because there's no way a normal human being thought making a burger for the Easter egg was a good idea, but apparently it was, and apparently it was according to them, and as a result we got one of the worst maps of all time. Right, Kino de Toten. Now, I remember Chaos, I think it was, and Mr. T-Lexify will know about this one. He ranked this as one of his favourite maps of all time, and I'll admit it is nostalgic. It was really good fun back in BO1, and the remake was pretty good as well, but it goes in decent at best. It's a good map, it flows really well, but there's not really much to it. It's a bit like Ascension. It gets boring and repetitive when you've got all these other maps like Shadows of Even God Kroger, which are way more epic and have got a lot more innovation and depth to it. I mean, Kino's just a theatre with crawlers and dogs. The dogs are the special zombies, and that's about it. It's a very small map, very basic, and not much to it. Ancient Evil. Right, people are going to be surprised by this one. I'm going to put it God tier. I think this map is fantastic. Like, the setting's amazing. The Pegasus and Pegasus boss fight was amazing. The gauntlets were amazing. When you go into the underworld, that was also amazing. Like, you could fly Pegasus around the map as well, and use the Pegasus. No, you could fly around the map. You could fly him into the Pack-a-Punch, and then you got Pegasus strats. So Pegasus was your assistant. There's not much to hate about this map. Like, you have to play it to believe it. But it's got a lot of features. It was just beautiful. It looks amazing. It wasn't too big either, so you knew everything was fairly quickly. But those gauntlets really made the map. I'd argue they're the best wonder weapons of all time in terms of power and strength, and you could upgrade them as well. The Easter egg was fairly difficult, but it was fairly enjoyable at the same time, which is what I liked about it. And it's a shame it was the last Chaos map, actually, because that's when the final cutscene was actually amazing. I think Scarlet got kissed by Medusa, and then Medusa took her thoughts, and then she went to the Library of Alexandria. That was going to be the next map. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. We probably never will, unless a miracle happens. And it's just a shame, really, because Ancient Evil went out with a bang. So you know what? Considering that was the last Chaos map, they did very well. Shaolin Shuffle. Very tricky. The setting actually wasn't that bad. I actually thought the city of New York, I think it was New York, was a good setting for a zombies map. But the map itself was executed extremely poorly. I wouldn't say it's trash, because it did have some cool elements. I thought the fighting moves were pretty cool, but meh for me. It didn't really flow that amazingly. Right, Outbreak. Right, Outbreak. Outbreak is an interesting one. Is this wait, what Outbreak is that? I don't know if that's the I don't know what version. That's the Exo Zombies version. I could be wrong, but I think it is. We're going for that for now. Right, for now we're going for the Advanced Warfare version, because unless I've ranked out. Well, ranked Outbreak already. Okay, so the Advanced Warfare version of Outbreak. It was probably the best map, or close to the best map in this game, in Advanced Warfare, but it was very basic, very simple, not really much to it, so I'm going to put that in Meh as well. I think Meh's the most popular. 5. You know what? Decent map, going to put that straight in there. It's a very difficult map, I'll admit that. But the cast of characters was amazing, and sometimes I like a good challenge. The setting was great. I mean, it's set in the presidential palace. You can't go wrong with that. But there were a few annoying things about the map. I mean, I didn't really personally like the Pentagon Thief too much when he took your weapons. I mean, it did add some challenge to it. But when you have like a really powerful weapon and you just take it by surprise, if you were quick enough killing him, it could be very, very irritating. But there were places to train. You could train the war room fairly easily once you got set up. And the reason it's not ranked higher, it couldn't be put great. I'm going to say it. The Winter's Howl genuinely makes that map go down a rank. The Winter's Howl was one of the worst wonder weapons, or the worst wonder weapon I've ever used in my entire life. It literally just... It was good for like the first 20 rounds maximum at best, or maybe a bit higher, I can't remember. After that, it just sort of froze the zombies, or even got you stuck in some cases, because when you shoot it, the zombies would be frozen into place, and then when you train and they block your path, it was an awful weapon. Dead of the Night had one of the worst releases in zombies history. They didn't actually advertise it at all, to my knowledge, and I just remember loading up Black Ops 4 one day, and the map was just sort of there, like you could buy it, and I was like, oh, they didn't make a trailer or send out a tweet or anything like that. It was really bizarre. I don't know what they were thinking. I think that really bit them in the backside when they released this, because I don't think many people played it at launch. I mean, I think more people played it over time, but it was buried under the sand very, very quickly, and that was a real shame. But it's actually, when you get into the map, it was actually really, really fun. I thought the setting was great. Victorian Mansion. and it's got a lot of good things going for it. I didn't like the Easter egg very much. I thought it was a bit complicated. There was a bit too many parts, but I enjoyed playing it. I did enjoy playing the Wonder Weapon. It was amazing as well. And deciding whether great or awesome. You know what? I think it deserves awesome. I think like it got a bad reputation for how it was released and stuff, and that's a big shame, really. But it is what it is. Okay, Rave in the Redwoods. Now, Rave in the Redwoods came after Zombies in Spaceland in Infinite Warfare. It was definitely not as good as Spaceland. Spaceland was incredible in comparison to this. I put it in decent. I mean, it had some good elements to it. From what I hardly remember the map though, but I do remember having a lot of fun with it. I think you went into some weird, you went into some thingy. I forgot what the mode was called now, but it's been years since I played this map. Everything went all colourful. Rave mode, that was it. You went to rave mode, and that was pretty good fun. And I thought the setting of the map was actually pretty nice as well. And I remember playing it and having quite a lot of enjoyment out of it. But when I put something in decent or meh, I don't really remember the map too well, but I do remember Raving the Wave was being fairly fun to play. Origins, right? Origins to me is God tier. Now, Origins is amazing. Has a lot of good things going for it. The staff's probably the most creative wonder weapons of all time. The Easter egg was very, very good. The setting of the map was amazing. You have the fist. You have the I forgot the fists were called, the Iron Fists. You had the I forgot what they were called. The things that the monkey bomb. It's been years since I played this map. And then. But just the setting of the map was beautiful. I thought the robots set the atmosphere beautifully. And it's hard to put into words how good Origins actually is. It's a hard map, don't get me wrong, but once you understand it, you appreciate the amount of time and effort they've really put into that map. And it's a shame, really, because they don't do the same these days. So Origins deserves that spot because its atmosphere, tone, beautiful. Der Riese. Now, Der Riese is definitely one of the best maps in terms of replayability. And for this is definitely the map that I played the most in World of War without a shadow of a doubt. It's very, very enjoyable. Introduced Pack-a-Lunch for the first time, which is literally the biggest staple of zombies of all time, excluding perks. So where do I put Der Riese? It's either awesome or god tier, because the only issue with Der Riese is it is repetitive. There's not much to do, but it's a good casual zombies map. Very good casual zombie map, probably the best. You know what? I'm actually going to put it in god tier. Now, the reasoning for this is when I put this into perspective, is people think zombies maps, just because they're simple, don't deserve to be in god tier. Now, I disagree. And I know obviously I've put things like Nax and stuff at the bottom, but there was other reasons for that. Keener, there wasn't much to it, but Der Riese introduced those fundamentals of zombies that we know and love today at its best. And it is good fun to play. It's probably the most noob-friendly zombies map of all time. So once you get set up, it can be a blast with your friends. I remember spending hours on end on World of War when I was a kid playing this, getting to high rounds, using all the cool mods and cheats you could do. It was a really enjoyable experience, and I can't say anything bad about the map. Doesn't do anything wrong, so yeah, it's going to go up to Classified. Right, few factors of this map. It's a remake of 5, and that's where did the thing go? Well, it's a remake of 5, which is that's good. The extended the map a bit, that was also good. It had one of the most stupid Easter eggs of all time, which was, well, you know what, round 150. I never did it. I couldn't be bothered doing it either. I mean, I tried it, but the game kept crashing, and it even crashed when it said the game was stable, so that was fun. I'm not getting to round 150 on that. I don't want to be sitting there for 12 hours plus, just literally using the shield and Galvanuckles, the Ragnarok's DG4s or whatever they were. Can't do that. But I did have quite a lot of fun with the map. It was the most simple one in Black Ops 4 release. I mean, it's not god tier. I'm probably going to put it in great. Great. It was a great map. It was enjoyable. Just had a few flaws like the Easter egg and stuff. Zombies in Spaceland, god tier. I mean, it's what do I say about this map? I mean, Infinite Warfare was a bad game, really bad game. The multiplayer was terrible, and the zombies needed something to like revive the game, and Zombies in Spaceland did just that. Like, it was set in a theme park. It was so cool. Like, you could go on all the rides. I'm sorry, but the setting alone just wins it for me. I just had a fun time playing it. I can't really say anything else. It was just great time, great fun. And if a map's fun, it ticks all the boxes. If you enjoy your map and you play it a lot and there's no flaws with it, it goes and got to. Simple as that. Buried. Ooh, Buried. Now this map, I enjoyed it a lot. Really did enjoy it. It was very, very easy. Probably too easy to an extent. It introduced a lot of fun mechanics. I thought George was quite fun. No, not George. Leroy, I beg your pardon. I don't know why I said George then. Leroy was a very good mechanic. Map was easy, but almost too easy because it could get a bit boring and repetitive. The Easter egg was good overall. I had a lot of problems doing it though because you get 4 players and the sharpshooter step was a bit of a pain. I'm going to put in awesome only because the map was too easy to the point where it got mind-numbingly boring. Shi No Numa, this is going in meh. I just found it really boring when I was playing it. It's not trash, like it's not awful, but it was very boring while I was playing that. Blood of the Dead. Right, Blood of the Dead to me is one of the most disappointing maps ever made, mainly due to the fact that its predecessor, Mob of the Dead, did everything much better, which is not good. Then Blood of the Dead was supposed to be an improvement with new areas of Alcatraz and better everything. The Easter egg is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, of all time out of all the zombie maps ever. It's one of the worst as well. The steps were terrible, very difficult. There was a step we had to go to like the lighthouse or something like that, and you had to like do Simon Says with a ghost. And if you got it a bit wrong, it messed up the step. The steps were horrible. It was round gate to round 18 unless you did something very specific. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. But the ending of the Easter egg was one of the best of all time. I got very emotional when Rick Toffin kicked the bucket basically and died. So where to put Blood of the Dead? Where to put it? It's not trash. It deserves better than meh. I'm going to put it in decent. It's not awful. It does have some good elements to it. If you played it for high rounds, it's not bad. But the Easter egg lets it down massively. If this had a good Easter egg with decent steps, it'd be great or awesome for sure. But it messed that up. Revelations. I'm going to put it as a great map. This map was fun. Getting high rounds and it was very fun. But the problem with it was more like a nostalgia fest map. Like everything was just too, I can't describe it. There was just too much going on. There was Origins, there was Kino, there was this, that. It was all the maps put together, and the nostalgia wore off very quickly for me. The Easter egg could have been handled a lot better. The steps were crap. Like no one knew what they were doing. The first step took a while to find out. We had to shoot the gravestones and people looking for rocks in the map. And there was just a lot of RNG based stuff with the eggs, and it was hideous. The boss fight was weird because there was 2 boss fights. The first boss fight was this Margwa thing where you had to kill the different elementals. That was pretty fun. Then the final boss fight, which you'd think could be really difficult and epic, wasn't epic. You just put souls in the summoning key, put the summoning key at the Cronorium, and then just shoot the Shadow Man a few times, and then that was it. There was nothing to it. If you had little Ardies, it was very simple. But yeah, it's not a bad map. It serves its purpose. It was very fun. Right, Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead is god tier. Mob of the Dead is fantastic. Like, the setting, Alcatraz, perfect. Characters, perfect. Afterlife system, perfect. Like, you could do so much in the map when you're jumping around, shocking everything to open doors and new areas. It was so cool. It did everything. It did everything perfectly where Blood of the Dead couldn't. The Easter egg wasn't the best, but it was very simple and enjoyable for people to do. And this map was the main reason. This map was like the birth of the Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 storyline, and they handled it very well, explaining how the cycle works and stuff like that. I thought it was like a tutorial. It was almost like a tutorial to show what's to come. Like, this is the basic concept of the story, is the cycle. This is how it's going to work. And Mob of the Dead delivered on that really, really well. Verruckt. Now, you know what? You've got to admit, to set a zombie map in an asylum is a very good idea. They did do that well. It was a very creepy map, actually. World of War. Remember the super sprinters? They were annoying and did do my head in. The map's challenging. It does keep you on your toes. It had perks for the first time as well. I'm going to put it in decent. I mean, I know some people hate this map, but it has a lot go. It can be quite enjoyable. If you want a challenge, play it. 9. I'm going to put 9. It's between god tier and awesome. But if I put it in god tier, I feel like the Rise and Drag should be in god tier instead. Oh, that's a tricky one. I'm going to put 9 in awesome. Oh, it's so hard because I really did have fun with this map. I'm going to put 9 in awesome. Oh no, I'm going to put 9 in god tier actually, because when this map on Black Ops 4 was the only one I could actually play and never get bored of. I thought the Gladiator setting was excellent. The map flowed really, really well, and it's probably one of the better maps of Black Ops 4, and it's just a shame that like they released maps like Voyager Despair in a way, because I think if this map released by itself, it would have got a lot more respect than it deserves. And the Easter egg was a pretty happy medium. Some of the steps were a little bit annoying, sure, but it was a fairly accessible Easter egg. You got to fight an elephant boss fight. That was excellent. That was unexpected. 2 elephant boss fights in a massive gladiator pit, and it was cool to have the crowd cheering at you, and that, it just set the atmosphere. I feel like with zombies, if you've got the atmosphere and the setting correct, the map sort of plays itself. I mean, obviously there's mechanics, but you can have really good mechanics, but if the atmosphere and the theme of the map is terrible, those mechanics are going to fail. So I feel like because of the atmosphere and how it was set, 9 deserves got to. Mauer de Toten. Oh boy, Mauer de Toten. I didn't hate this map. It wasn't trash or anything like that. It wasn't meh either. I'm going to put it in decent. It was fun. It was nice. It was I can't even describe it. It was a map that we'd been waiting for a while, because Outbreak was been out for 4 months at this point, so it took a very long time to be released. And the Wonder Weapon was quite fun, the Cerberus. I mean, it was annoying again because the Cerberus had these 4 variants, and they were all worse than the original. But the atmosphere of the map was pretty good. The Easter egg was challenging and kept you on your toes. I mean, there was a few bad things about it though that I didn't like. I thought the Panzer could be a bit of a Cransy Solar could be a bit of a pain in the bum in that map. It made it could make it fairly tricky. It could make it very annoying sometimes because they were buffed up compared to the other enemies. So if you were reloading or whatever and a Cransy Solar was coming, it made it fairly tricky and irritating at times. But it's one of them maps where I'm just like, I can't put it in great because it sort of, do I put it in great? You know, I'm going to give it great because it is a fairly enjoyable map. and it does have a lot going for it. Like Forsaken, I'm going to put that in meh. The map as a whole I felt like it was rushed. I felt they just sort of chucked a load of rubbish together and just hoped for the best. I mean, the callback to Moon was pretty cool at the start with the whole where you kept that zombies kept coming in. I did enjoy that aspect of it. I thought it was quite funny to try and survive in there for as long as I could. But I just didn't like. I mean, the Wonder Weapon was pretty cool, sure, but I just thought the map was a bit boring and a bit like underwhelmingly not that great. It was just full of junk. It just I don't know what to say. Is this what I think? Oh god. Oh no. Right. Durham Fang. Trash. Awful. I don't want to begin. It made it was like the worst version of Outbreak. The map was broken, no Easter egg on launch, the storyline made no sense. They reused the multiplayer maps, the objectives got boring. They had a Shi No Numa area which was also terrible. I mean, I don't know what to say. Right, Terra Maledictus, trash. I mean, actually, these are both going in trash. Actually, is that? I don't know what map that is. Oh, that's a Shi No Numa remake. Sorry. But yeah, these are all three of these deserve to go in trash. This map here, or I don't know, that's Terra Maledictus, I think, and that's the Archer. This map here is a green version of this map, and I can't believe they even released it. I genuinely can't believe that they actually released this. It's like they just got the green filter and just released it. It was terrible. Yeah, I had a boss fight, sure, but it was crap. I'm sorry, I don't know how anyone can justify putting any of these maps anywhere up here. They were terrible. Like, I don't want to go into it. And Shi No Numa Reborn is going in meh. It was probably the best map in Vanguard Zombies, but that's not saying much, is it? But you know what? I'm fairly happy with this tier list. I mean, there's not much there. I mean, I think I've done a pretty good job of with these maps. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you can get Mr. T Lexify or any other YouTubers on YouTube to react to this, that would be fantastic, because it would be great to see their reaction, what they think of it. I'm sure I'll get roasted by some of them, but I think I've done my best. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.